Live. Hello, welcome to another edition of Foodie Sports. And with me today is Manager Bernard. Bernard, shout out. And I am
Hi,
Neil,
shout out.
the usual host. And then today we'll be discussing the latest of transfer news. We'll talk a little bit about La Liga and the upcoming fixtures. Then we'll review shortly the EPL Game Week 3. And then we'll also discuss the UEFA and IFAB handball rule, whether it needs to be reviewed or we need to keep it as it is. We'll also be looking at VAR and its implementation in the Premier League, whether they are doing it well or if they have to change a few things to help the game flow better and also ensure that they make better decisions. And then we'll also preview a few of the upcoming fixtures, specifically the Carabao matches for this midweek, and then the midweek matches for the La Liga. Just give a few predictions for boys to see what they are going to do and where to put their money at. So joining again is Manager Jude. We'll join soon and then we'll introduce him as well. So today, that's what we'll be discussing. And the La Liga will look whether Atletico is a powerhouse now after they signed Luis Suarez, and whether they can challenge for the league this season. We're also looking at Pep Guardiola in the EPL, whether he's actually spending so much on his defense, or he's actually offering solutions by spending so much money on defenders. And we also look at Ansu Fati, whether he could be the future of Barcelona, and then also Leicester City. They are putting up a good run, whether they have what it takes to challenge for the EPL title. So this and many more. Without much ado, we'll start the show. In the transfer news, Bernard, things are still ongoing. And in this season, or this transfer season, one of the best sources of transfer news has been Fabrizio Romano. It looks like about 90% of his transfer predictions come through. The latest coming from his Twitter handle is about Serginho Dest being Barca bound, even though Bayern Munich are so much interested in him. He's also reporting that Wesley Fofana is getting closer to Leicester City, saying that personal terms are already agreed. And the deal could cost upwards of excess of 40 million euros. Also, he has said Lucas Torreira's agent is in Atletico Madrid now, trying to get him a deal. We realized that yesterday's match, Lucas Torreira wasn't in the matchday squad, I believe, for Arsenal. And then Lucas Paqueta from AC Milan is also joining Olympique Lyonnais. He's also saying that Andres Pereira is trying to get a loan deal to Leeds. And then Michael Cousin, and say Bayern Munich, and then Leeds are in talks for Michael Cousin or Michel Cousin. We don't know much about him. Then the biggest news is Wissam Aouar to Arsenal. He says Jean-Michel Ola is saying that Arsenal are tabling bids as if they are afraid. Charlie, if you want to bid, Charlie, bid more. Say Arsenal will come, put 40 million, and come and add 3 million. Like we did market to negotiate for tomato. Anyway, so I believe most of these ones are just something just for our information. Is AS Roma preparing a new bid for Chris Smalling also? AS Roma, after AC Milan emerged as prime people to sign Chris Smalling, apparently he prefers to go to Rome as opposed to AC Milan. So with all this, I believe mostly the ones we talk about is probably Wissam Aouar and then Chris Smalling. So your thoughts on that, Bernard?
Okay. Well, I think over some weeks now, the links has been there for the Osam move to Arsenal. You know, initially, Arsenal wanted to sign Thomas Partey from Atletico Madrid. He was their prime target. But Atletico wants Arsenal to pay the full release clause of Thomas Partey, which is 50 million euros, which Arsenal is not ready to fish out that amount. Arsenal wanted to pay the money in installments, but Atletico are not in a hurry to let Thomas Partey leave. So they switched their attention to Lyon, thinking that they could, negotiate and pay in installments so that they can sign Osam Owa from Lyon. But we all know Jean-Michel Aulas is a tough bastard. That man, you don't take his players on a cheap. So that the first bid that Arsenal tailored, I think, was 30 million euros. And then they wanted to spread the rest, about 25 million in add-ons. And that bid was rejected. All in all, Osamwa will be a good addition to the Arsenal setup right now, given the fact that the job that they wanted Lucas Tolera to do for the team, he's not been able to live up to the billing. You know, so they wanted, looking at Osamwa's performances with Lyon, it has been fantastic, and I believe that he can give what Arsenal needs now, what Mikel Arteta needs right now. And if they are able to meet the variations of the player, I'm sure Lyon is ready to do business. They have even, the deal for Paqueta, it's almost done. It's almost done. Yeah, the deal for, he is the direct replacement for Osamwa. And once they secure the Paqueta deal, they will still not be in a hurry to let Owa leave. At least, for what is fair, they are going to have the strength in depth of the squad. So I'm sure he's going to cough out, much of the total sum of the transfer fee before they are going to let him leave. Maybe about 45 million euros they will definitely take, and then maybe spread the 10 million euros in add-ons. But all in all, I think that deal is going to fall through. The Owa move to Arsenal is going to fall through before the transfer window ends. The guy is going to make that move. For Chris Smalling, I think it is going to be a good addition to the Milan setup. But we all know that he was warmly welcomed in Rome, and he played really well when he was on loan at Roma. So Smalling will prefer going back to AS Roma, but the price tag that Manchester United has slapped on the head of Smalling is what AS Roma is not ready to meet that amount. I think they wanted 18 million euros, and Roma is willing to pay 12 million euros. And Manchester United are not ready to reduce the transfer fee. Yeah, which I honestly don't know why they are doing that, because you have made it clear to the player that you don't need him. He's surplus to requirement. So if someone is giving it to me, why not take it and let the guy go? I'm surprised that deal is still not done, because I thought it was just going to be a mere formality. They were not going to stretch that transfer. But let's see what happens. Maybe AC Milan might be able to pay, and then he will eventually end up in Milan. But either way, wherever Smalling finds himself, I'm sure he's going to be a good addition to either Roma or AC Milan.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
The
you.
Sergio Dest, for Sergio Dest, Barcelona is going to land him. I think the transfer fee is around 25 million euros. Barca also wanted to, in my expectation, to cash all their money down because I don't think 23 million. I honestly don't know why Barca want to use that method to pay. But if they are able to get him, because they don't have any proper right back in their setup right now, so they are using this guy Sergio Roberto to play in that right back position. We all know that that guy is a central midfielder. So he doesn't really give you the best of performances when he's being played at that position, especially when they are playing opposition who attacks really well. So when they are able to secure the signing of Sergio Dest, I'm sure it's going to go a long way to help the Barcelona setup. You know, Barca ever since Dani Alves left the club, they have spent lots of sums on right backs to replace Dani Alves, and they've not been able to do that. So let's just hope that when Sergio Dest comes, he's going to give what Barcelona wants. For the other transfers,
Yeah,
I think I will leave that one. These are the major transfer news across the top 5 leagues.
Okay, Manager Jude, welcome.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, we were talking about the latest of transfers, and I wanted to touch on a few of them, which is Chris Smalling's impending transfer to AS Roma, Sergio Dest to Barcelona, and then also Usam Aouar to Arsenal. The Lyon president is saying that Arsenal are tabling bids as if they are scared. When they are bidding, they will bid and add some 2 million or add some 3 million. Saying when they want to bid, they should bid like men, like real men, put proper bid on the table so that they can consider. But Arsenal are cowards.
Yeah.
That's technically what he's trying to say. Anyway, you are in Barca. How good is Sergio Dest? If you can give us.
To be frank, he's a young talent. He's not been tested and proven yet at the highest of levels. Because even when Ajax was the last 2 seasons, when they made it so far into the Champions League, he wasn't a part of the team. So we are yet to see him being tested at the highest level of football, right? But that being said, I think he has a lot of room to improve. He's a good young talent, and he can make it at Barcelona. Having watched a little bit of him here and there, I must confess I've not watched entirely everything of him except of his abilities. He's very good in advanced positions, just like how we used to have Dani Alves. And like the previous person who spoke, that after Dani Alves, Barca have really struggled to get a right back who is all out attack and also defend quite considerably. Okay. Watching bits of him, yes, he's good going forward. Yes, he's good defensively. One thing about him is also his versatility, right? He can sometimes slot in at the left back position, right? So with Sergio Dest, again, he's moving from Ajax to Barcelona. And anyone who knows about Ajax and Barcelona, you know that these are players that make the transition very easy because both teams play almost identical philosophical. They have the same philosophy when it comes to football, right? So the transition won't be that difficult, except when he's played out of position like other coaches tried to do with Frank de Jong. Right, and we saw him suffer. But under Koeman, even though it's early days yet, at least the very first match we watched against Villarreal, we saw how good he was. and how comfortable he was being played in position. And I believe that Coman again will play Dest in position and not out of position. So he should be comfortable. But I think our relationship with Ajax is superb. And Marco Vermaas, who is their sporting director and who is an ex-Barcelona player, is quite comfortable with letting the player come to us because, as we all know, he was heavily linked to Bayern Munich even before Barca came into the fray, right? And Bayern Munich were far in advanced talks with Ajax. At the moment Barca came in, because of that cordial relationship between Barcelona and Ajax, Barca were given the, should I say, the advantage. And then the mode of payment was made flexible. Why Barca doesn't want to spend, give out the whole 20 million euros out to Ajax? It's simple, because Barca want to add not just right back. There is Eric Garcia Barca want to buy. There is Memphis Depay, if possible. Barca want to also acquire. And then on the free fringes, an expensive option will be Lautaro Martinez. Right. So given all these, Barca do not have enough firepower to spend at a go on one player. So what's the way out? The way out is simply paying installments in every deal that Barca wants to go in. Even with Eric Garcia, Barca wants to use installments to pay. And I think with the Serginho Dest issue, there's much progress being made, and we should be expecting the player latest tomorrow or tomorrow next. He should be in Barcelona, right? Having his medicals and all that stuff. So in summary, that's all that I'll say going around, expecting that he will be a very good signing for Barcelona and he joins the team. Again, sorry, let me just add a bit. He knows that in Barcelona, he wouldn't have so much competition. One of your panelists said, we don't even have a natural right back in our team as we speak, amongst our first team members. We have a makeshift right back in Sergio Roberto. Yes, but he's not naturally a right back. So which means that Serginho Dest would have a lot of minutes to play. So that should be an incentive. Aside the fact that he has been a boyhood, childhood fan, wanted to always play for Barcelona. Again, the minutes he will get will be very valuable for him, and the experience to play with all these top level of stars will be very good for him. And even though Roberto is not really much of a right back, he will also give him stiff opposition, because we know that with the midfield background of Sergio Roberto, he's very good when going forward. It's just that he's a bit suspect when it comes to defensive work. So he will get that competition, but he should be able to cement the right back position for himself. Yeah, so basically that's about it.
Okay, that's very fine. Any thoughts on Osam Aouar to Arsenal?
Osam Aouar to Arsenal. Yes, I nearly forgot about that. Osam Aouar should be an Arsenal player, because I think it's the right fit for Arsenal right now. Actually, on the backdrop of the match we watched yesterday, we saw that Arsenal needed a midfielder with enough creativity. Right, they started quite defensively with Granit Xhaka and Mohamed Elneny, and we saw that none of those players could evade the press of Liverpool. It was when Dani Ceballos was brought in that we saw that at least with his ability to evade the press of Liverpool, they started to catch Liverpool off the break, because the way Liverpool press, if you're able to evade that pressing, you basically have a lot of their attacking players at your 10, and you have about 4 defenders. So if you really watch that Lacazette chance, you will see that it was basically 4 against 3. 4 Arsenal players against 3 Liverpool defenders. And the simple reason was that Dani Ceballos was able to break the Liverpool press. And that is what Osam Aouar also possessed, right? But we know how Arsenal deal. And Arsenal and Lyon are like the other side of the coin. Here you have Jean-Michel Aulas, who is a hard baller, who, when it comes to deal, you better cough out the money or forget about the player.
Arsenal too
Yes.
are stingy.
And then you have Arsenal, who is at the other side of the point, who wants to be stingy and nicer and want to find other ways to also bring in the player without having to spend much. But then we are in a COVID situation where both push and pull is very difficult.
Yeah.
Right. Where teams also need money, and where teams also want to buy are also trying to hold on to money. Let's not forget Arsenal laid off about 50 of their workers.
Yeah.
Right. And they even started with struggling to let players cut down their wages. And even they had a run-in with Ozil, who even used to do so to cut down his wages. So this is a club by fault. And then add on to it, we are in a COVID crisis, which means they are moving from stingy to aware, right? But I think they need Osam they need Osam and they will try to sign him. And the good news is that I think that Lyon have been linked with Lucas Paqueta from AC Milan. And I think they are working in a deal to bring in Paqueta. So it shows signs that, yes, they are trying to find a replacement for Osam Awa. And by speculations, you should know that probably Arsenal and Lyon are far advanced in talks. The only thing left out is money. And we know how it will end. But I think Arsenal will find a way to pull the deal through.
Okay, that's fine. And then moving on, we are coming to talk a bit about the La Liga. And the topics we have for discussion today, we are looking at Atletico Madrid having signed Luis Suarez. It looks like they are a new rejuvenated side. Their first game, they were a delight to watch. They moved from this typically defensive team to a free-flowing attacking team, bringing passes here and there, creating chances here and there. Do you see Atletico Madrid as a powerhouse or a league contender for this coming season? I'll start with Jude.
Yeah, Atletico Madrid have for quite some time now been the third force in Spanish La Liga football, right? And for like 3 or 4 years ago, we were really a contender. So for last season or two back, you saw that they tried to let off some players go, like Diego Godin, Savage is also gone. They tried to rebuild all together again, right? So last season we saw players like Hector, we saw players like Lodi, we saw other players who were on the fringes now being brought to fray. And having watched them, I think they are in a good shape. The inclusion of Luis Suarez, truth be told, any team that has Luis Suarez on any day, any time, once he's on song, you have a top striker in your hand, right? And now with Joao Felix, who is now, we know of his quality. It's in no doubt. But now you can see that he's now fitting into the system. And then Simeone is trying to find ways and means to combine both his defensive-minded players with his attacking-minded players, right? And one thing about Atletico, they have midfield to bear. Even if they can't get a hold on Thomas Partey and he leaves, I think that the likes of Saul could hold the fort because they've always been doing it, right? Yeah. So I think this year or this season, they are going to be a contender. They'll move from the dark horses region and be much more in contention. And the reason is also simple. It's because Real Madrid and Barcelona are not also in their 100% zone.
Yes.
Right. So Real Madrid are also trying to transition into something life after Cristiano Ronaldo, right? And so they are trying to bring in Martin Odegaard, and they are young players trying to see if they will be a fit into the team. And so is Barca. We know the crisis that has happened in Barcelona, both on and off the pitch. It's a whole mess. And the crisis is still not done because as we speak, there's still a vote of no confidence for us to get through to see what will happen. So both Madrid and Barcelona are not also in their top 100 level, top 100% zone to say that, okay, any day, anytime, they are going to blow out everything. And we saw it when Real Madrid struggled in their first match debut. In their second match, I dare say, if not for the red card Betis suffered, Real Madrid wouldn't have won the match. And I think the signs are on the wall. Right? Yeah. Barcelona, yes, began well, but can we keep Messi happy for long? Because obviously he's not happy. He's not happy with all that had gone by. And then again, he's not happy with Suarez leaving. And he made it very clear. He did not mince words. He did not hide it. He made us know that so he didn't like the way Suarez was kicked out of the team. But at the end of the day, he's not surprised with anything that happens in the club anymore. So with all these factors boxed in together, I think Atletico is really a force to reckon with because they do not have these drama in their backroom staff. Again, they have used the last season to try and fix their team, to try and build a rebuild. And I think that if they are not there, they are almost there because they showed us signs and symptoms when they played Liverpool. And only if that Atletico Madrid shows up with Luis Suarez, with Diego Costa, with Joao Felix, with Koke, with their back line of Kieran Trippier, Hector, Lodi, they have a lot of quality to burn and they can go all out and to all the way. In all the competitions they will compete in. So they will not just be contenders in La Liga, they will contend for Copa del Rey and they will contend for UEFA Champions League. So that's what I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Bernard, before you come in with your submission, I would like you to combine that with Barcelona, whether you see Barcelona, the new Barcelona and Koeman also as strong enough force to contend. I personally have the opinion that last season, Barca gifted Real Madrid the title so easily. Madrid didn't deserve to win last season's title, but for Barca's issues at the back end of the season, that made Madrid win the title easily. What do you have to say? Yeah, Bernard.
Okay. With the Barcelona bets, I think Barca is always the favorite to win La Liga for about the past 2 years. If I stretch it back, I would say for the past 20 years. Barcelona has always been the favorite to win La Liga because during this period, they've been able to win it for consecutive times. Every time Barcelona starts winning the league, in consecutive times. Which we cannot say the same thing for Real Madrid or Atletico, who are normally the third force in recent time. Having said that, I think what Ronald Koeman is doing at Barcelona now is pretty good. I know it is early days yet, but the signs are really good. I remember for the last episode, I sat here and said that Barcelona is going well, Koeman is going to do really well, and then some of my colleagues disagreed. When you watched their first game against Villarreal, you could see clearly that the over-dependence on Messi is now gradually being a thing of the past. Because unlike the days where Valverde, Quique Setien's, Enrique, like the past managers, unlike when they were there, when every player is being asked to pass the ball to Messi whenever they get to the attacking end of the opposition. Ronald Koeman knows very well that Messi could probably leave Barcelona next season, at the end of this season. And then he is now trying to build his team for the post-Messi era. You know, when you watch the game against Villarreal, anytime, especially the second goal, the Ansu Fati's second goal, you know, Messi was in position when Coutinho was bringing the ball. He could have easily, if it was the Barcelona of old, he would have passed the ball to Messi. And then when he saw that Fati was in a good position, he passed the ball to him. In fact, all the goals that they scored, there was no Messi involvement in it, except for the penalty that he scored. And even the play that led to the penalty, he was not involved. And you could see clearly that Coutinho was hungry, very hungry to succeed. Ansu Fati is hungry to succeed. Frankie de Jong played excellent. Even Piqué, the older players that we thought are fading out, they played really well. They played really well. So definitely, Barcelona is going to be a contender. You know, Real Madrid have their own issues when it comes to goal scoring. So right now, it's like if Benzema doesn't score, then the responsibility falls to Sergio Ramos. And Ramos is a defender. If you are going to go through this long season, you cannot depend on Ramos every day to score goals. And the other attackers are not scoring. Luka Jovic, I think, is just a waste of money, given out the performances that he has given ever since he signed for Madrid. Eden Hazard, the least said, the better. You cannot count on Vinicius Jr. to give you goals. You cannot count on Rodrigo de Goes to give you goals. And Marco Asensio is always not available whenever you need him most. Now they've loaned out Gareth Bale to Tottenham Hotspur. So the scoring of goals responsibility is now solely on Karim Benzema's head. And we know Benzema. Benzema is not that type of striker who can guarantee you 40 goals a season. Benzema is not Cristiano Ronaldo. Benzema is not Messi. Benzema is not Suarez. He's not even Robert Lewandowski. So I think if Madrid really want to compete this season, they need a new number 9. There were rumors that they were going to sign Edison Cavani. I don't know how true that rumor is. I think if they are able to secure the services of Cavani, it is going to help them in the attacking phase of the team. All right. For Atletico, I'm sure they are going to be very exciting to watch. This team is going to be very exciting to watch this season. The signing of Luis Suarez has now even gingered the attacking players they have now, because they all know the caliber of player Luis Suarez is. He is always hungry to score goals. And if you don't play well, your position is definitely going to go out to him. So even before he came in, you could see how aggressive Diego Costa was in the game, which we haven't seen in a very long time. The performance that Diego Costa gave this weekend we haven't seen that type of performance for a very long time. I think the last time that we saw Diego Costa play this well was way back when he was at Chelsea.
Awesome.
Angel Correa was excellent. Joao Felix, when he came the first season, Simeone was not playing that fluid attacking football. So he didn't really, shine. The hype that he came with, he never lived up to expectation in the first season. But I think Simeone is now tinkering with the tactics a bit. He is now being a little bit flexible, playing that attacking football, and it's going to bring out the best in Joel Felix as well. They have a solid defense. Atletico Madrid have always had a solid defense. So as for their defense, you cannot say anything about their defense. And their midfield is also good. Even if Thomas Partey is not there, I think Saúl Ñíguez and Koki can hold down the fort for them. And with the addition of Luis Suarez, I think the sky is the limit for Atletico Madrid. They are a real contender this season, and I even tip them to win this La Liga title.
Okay, that's fine. Manager Jude, before you go into Barcelona, I want you to combine it briefly with Ansu Fati. Do you see Ansu Fati as the future of Barcelona? Personally, I doubt, because Ansu Fati, I believe, feeds on the services of others, but he doesn't on his own create a lot or create much. Unlike when people like Ronaldinho, them were coming into the system, you see that when the going gets tough, they can create things out of nothing. And then came Lionel Messi, we know, the magician himself. You see Ansu Fati as being the successor when Messi exits the stage for Barcelona. So the floor is yours.
I don't think so, but truth is he's a talent. He's a unique talent, right? And just like you said, he's not in the mode of the sort of players you mentioned who create things out of thin air, right? But he's more of a team player. He's more of a player that rely on people to serve for him, and then he's very good with finishing. He's 17 years old. Let's not forget that. And at this level, the sort of maturity, we all know the Spanish national team. For a 17-year-old to be given the chance, let me rephrase, for a 17-year-old of African origin to be given the chance in the Spanish national team, then you should understand the talent. Yeah. Because they had someone like Inaki Williams, if you remember. Yeah. They had someone like Inaki Williams, also very talented, of an African origin. He never really got the chance really to show himself for the Spanish national team. But Ansu Fati has been given that chance. That should tell us a lot about his quality, right? So he's a player that finishes well, who is very matured for his age. When you see him play the ball, the way he holds the ball, the decisions he makes on the ball, it doesn't show one of a child or one of a teenager who suffers indecision, right? The only thing left about his game is strength. Because I watched him last season against teams that bully, like Atletico Madrid, teams that get physical on you, right? And he really struggled in matches like that. But you know, Villarreal, they love to play just like Barca. They love to open up, let's play. And with those kind of teams, you have a lot of spaces to exploit. And with his space, with his game intelligence, with his game maturity, and his ability to finish, he really functioned well. So I think the little bit of thing that he has to work is his physicality, right? And I think that as a small lad, they will work on him in that respect. So yes, I think that we are phasing out Messi, and Ansu Fati can step it up, but he will be a player of his own. And the advice is, don't be like Messi, because you are not Messi. Don't be like Ronaldinho, you are not Ronaldinho, but he can be a Raúl for Real Madrid. All right. Because Raúl wasn't creating much, but give it to him, he will finish it up for you. And that is how I see Ansu Fati, right? And he is a bit of a hybrid. He doesn't possess the skills, but he can play out wide. Very direct, he cuts in and he shoots, right? He can win you penalties. He won penalties for Spain when he was called. And then we saw him win a penalty for Barcelona when he played. So I think that he can be the future of Barca, or I think he will be the future of Barca, but he won't be the type that Barca have been accustomed to. like the Ronaldinhos, the Rivaldos, the Joninos, the Romarios. You see that stuff.
Ronaldo.
The Brazilian flair who will carry, not just score, but they will do all the flex and tricks and will all be standing up and clapping and all those stuff. No, I don't see that in Ansu Fati. But he's a player couched in a different move who would now be more direct, give you goals, and then with a space, be very valuable on the counter attack. So he will need help. That's true. And I think that he will get it because Barca, yes, for now, maybe not, but we have a lot of young talent that we have in our possession, like Trincao. I don't know if you have monitored the guy. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's
like
very
Pedri.
good. He's very
like
good.
Pedri. Yes. And those are the players that can do the take-ons, give you the flicks and tricks. So Ansu Fati just has to concentrate on finishing the moves. And I think that when they all combine, because like I said, the post-Messi era, we will not get one player that will take Barca forward. The future of Barca, yes, Ansu Fati, but he will not do it alone. You will need a team effort because Messi is one in a generational player. He's like three players combined because he can score. You take the scoring away from him, he can dribble. You take the dribble away from him, he has a great vision and give a pass out of the blue. So we are talking about a player who has like 4 attributes combined. And so to say that one person will fill his shoes, we'll be joking and laughing at the wrong side of our mouth. But I think that when we combine all these talents, Frankie de Jong, we combine Pedri, Trincao, Ansu Fati, I think that the future looks bright for Barca.
Okay, that's fine. We'll move on quickly to the EPL. Few topics in the EPL. Bernard, I understand the deal for Ruben Diaz has been finalized for Manchester City. Do you think Pep Guardiola is wasting or spending so much money on his defense to the detriment of others? And secondly, if he had that much to spend on Ruben Diaz, why not go for Koulibaly?
Okay. I think the Koulibaly transfer, because of the Jorginho transfer saga, Man City and the Napoli, the two, what's the name? The Napoli president, what's in the name?
De
Laurentiis. And then Manchester City, what's this guy? This guy's name. Forgotten the name.
Chicky Bergerstan. Chicky
Bergerstan. Yeah. They had finished the negotiation for the transfer of Jorginho to Napoli. And then immediately Chelsea signed Mauricio Sarri. He hijacked that transfer. And then that created a bit of friction between Manchester City and then Napoli. So the Koulibaly deal, there was a middleman who was negotiating for both sides. So the deal was not directly between the two heads of each football club. And that was basically what was happening behind the scenes. So, in fact, Manchester City, the big men at the helms of affairs at Manchester City never wanted to do business with Napoli again. But it was Pep Guardiola who needed that guy, Koulibaly. So all in all, and the price tag on Koulibaly was a bit high, considering that he is entering his 30s. So City were not ready to spend that much on him. And then when you look at the pecking order, Koulibaly was their first choice. Jules Koundé, the Sevilla defender, was their second choice. And then Ruben Diaz was the third choice. And since they didn't get these two, they had to move to Ruben Diaz. The scouts reports on Ruben Diaz, says that the guy is slow. That is why they didn't want to sign him. He is slow. And considering the pace of the Portuguese league and then the Premier League is being played with pace. It is very pacey. So if you are slow in the Portuguese league, it means you are going to have a lot of problems defending in the EPL. But as at now, there is no better option for them. So they have to resort to signing Ruben Diaz. I'm not sure he is going to be the savior of their defensive frailties over the seasons. But they've signed him. So let's see what will happen. I'm sure they are still going to have the defensive problems, even with the inclusion of Ruben Diaz.
Exactly my point.
Which I am sad about it, because I thought this season the league was going to be a straight fight between Manchester City and Liverpool. But given the fact that City have a whole lot of defensive issues,
yes.
It's going to be like last season. Liverpool is going to win the league like very easy, because we know Chelsea have their own problems, Manchester United, and even the two sides who have played really well when the season started, Leicester and Everton, they don't have the squad depth to play at this level over the course of the season. They can't. So it is only Liverpool. It's like Liverpool against the rest. So this particular season, the league is theirs to lose. Liverpool is going to win the league. City are going to lose a lot more matches. They are still going to lose a lot more matches. What City needed was a leader at the back, a player casting the mold of Vincent Kompany. They have not been able to replace him since he left. And that is what is worrying City right now. Now you have John Stones, the defensive players that they have, center backs they have right now, it's John Stones, Laporte, Nathan Ake, and now Ruben Diaz. No one is casting the mode of Vincent Kompany. There is no leader among those center backs. So organization at the back is going to be problematic for them. And their left back and the right backs too, they are not adding much to their defensive work. And also in the attacking wise of the game as well. I don't remember the last time I saw Kyle Walker assisting or Benjamin Mendy doing that. So they are not giving anything in the attacking wise of the game. They are not doing the defensive job as well. Look at the silly penalties that they conceded against Leicester City. And this problem is not going to end with the Leicester game. They are still going to have these problems. What's the other?
Yes.
What was the other?
I was asking whether he's spending so much to fix this defense because the prices are huge. And then Ansu Fati. If you have any thought on Ansu Fati.
Okay. As for Pep, I think over the years, he has really done bad business with the signings of defenders. He spends huge sums of money on defenders, but when they come, what is expected of them to do, they are not being able to do it. So I don't know. Pep has the type of defenders that he want the ball playing types. He normally don't look at the defensive aspects. I mean, the core duty of defenders, which is to defend. He always wants a defender who can pass the ball. I mean, I just don't get it. And then the manner in which they do their transfers, everyone knows that City has money. So when you are going for a player, they just inflate the price tags for you. And since they see that you are desperate, they know that you are going to pay. So they will, and over the years, you've shown that the price is not really a problem to you. Once you say you like this player, no matter how much the player costs, you are going to get him. There is a track record there. You signed all of this play. Guardiola, ever since he signed for City, has spent over 500 million euros on defenders alone. And still, that defensive problem that he wants to solve, he has not been able to do so. So I don't think it is the money. They are always going to spend the money, but it is up to him to, turn that money into the results that City needs, because you cannot use this type of defense to compete in the EPL, let alone in the Champions League. So there is a lot of work to be done in the City defense. For the Ansu Fati, I think Ansu Fati is a good player. He is young, and the skill sets that he has is amazing. Not all players were so lucky to have this. When with the right guidance from Koeman, who we all know like young players, he's going to guide that lad, and he's going to deliver. But his talent is not like those of Messi's, the Ronaldinho's, the Ronaldo's, the Limes. He will need support from his teammates in order to flourish. Given time, I'm sure he's going to be one of their best players, but I don't think he has the ability to carry the team on his shoulders.
Okay, that's fine. Jude, going forward, do you think Leicester City, they have the ability to push for a top 4 finish? Much as I think they will come close, I doubt, because Leicester City's problem has always been the over-reliance on Jamie Vardy. He's at the wrong part of the age bracket. So if Vardy gets injured, misses a game, or probably played out of the game, Leicester City becomes very flat. In my opinion, do you think they have what it takes to push for a top 4 finish? And then if you have any bit on Pep Guardiola, you can add.
Well, I think you just hit the nail right on the head. I think they are just dark horses. They will have and puff just like last season, threaten other teams and make the other teams step up. That's all they will do, right? They will not make it into the top 4. At best, they will be fifth. Because this season, I really see Arsenal doing well. Maybe Arsenal doing well, they may not even make the top 4 though, but I see Arsenal finishing ahead of Leicester City. Right. Okay. So even if I am not convinced Arsenal may make top 4, but I'm convinced they will finish ahead of Leicester City, then that means then that Leicester City, they have a lot of quality players, like you said. They have Jamie Vardy, but he's the one potent thing up front. Right. Yeah. When you take him away, the rest, are not consistent with scoring. Like you have Vance, you have Payet, probably you have Maddison. Maddison really doesn't score much. He creates a lot of goals, right? And most of the times, this is the problem. But what's the name? Leicester City, they are in contrast to Man City, right? Man City tries with teams that will want to open up and play. Not teams that have fast wingers, fast strikers, who are not willing to play, but are willing to catch you on the break.
Yeah.
Conversely, that is how Leicester City are. They function well with teams that attack them that much. But we know that those teams are few in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Right. Even though the game is changing and a lot of teams want to play attacking, expansive football. But when they come against certain teams, those teams will go against their natural will to want to open up the game and play, and rather defend and watch Leicester try to attack them. And once teams sit deep, then even the ability of Vardy now becomes a question.
Yeah.
Because Vardy is not the player that will come and struggle with defenders, will come and wall with high defenders, let's jump ahead. He needs the space to move into. So if they sit deep and close the gap between the keeper and the central defense, then there's not enough space for Vardy to make his movement. And those teams will be quite a lot, so they will struggle with those teams, right? But I see them doing well. I tip them amongst the top 6 or 7, yes. Given that Wolves are also have started woefully, maybe hopefully they'll pick up later, but so far it's not looking good. Touching on City, I think that to be honest with Pep Guardiola, he hasn't really found a replacement for Kompany. Why am I saying that? It's not as though Kompany was really playing much for him, if we search our minds back. But the matches Kompany played, he was very influential, right? And much of the reason was because Kompany always had injury problems. But at that time, you had Fernandinho, who was at the prime of his work, who was breaking up play very easily and all that. But now he's at the wrong side of the age when it comes to football, right? So we don't have the Fernandinho that we used to have. And coupled with it, you don't have your Kompany that you have, who combines well with a ball-playing central defender, right? So basically, that is the problem, trying to find that player. And all the signings they've made from that point onwards have been players, like Ben said, who are ball-playing, but really cannot really tackle. And when we say tackle, you know, the Premier League, it's not all about tackling with the ball on the pitch. But we are talking here about players that have aerial durability, players that can really go up in the sky and head the ball. Anytime Man City gets a set piece against them, you have this feeling in you, I don't know, but you always have this feeling in you that it's dangerous. Once the ball goes up in the air, you always have this feeling Man City may concede.
Yeah.
Just because they have defenders that aerially are not really good. Let's not take anything away from Ederson. Ederson is a superb goalkeeper. But when it comes to his judgment aerially, that's another problem. When to come out, when to stay, when the ball is in the air. He comes and sometimes does not even get a touch on the ball. He finds himself in no man's land and all those things. Right, but he's one of the best keepers in the Premier League, all jokes aside. So I think that he's spending money in the right department, but buying the wrong players for that department. Yes, because Man City actually lost the league last season due to defense, nothing else, nothing more. Because when it comes to shots on goal, they were amongst the top. When it comes to chances creation, they were amongst the top. Kevin De Bruyne was top in assists, so it means there was nothing simply wrong with their attack. Yes, exactly. So there was nothing really wrong with their attack. But the difference here was their defense was suspect. And it was worrying that even Laporte got injured, and it worried them. And Laporte is not even your best of tacklers.
Yeah.
You see, so now if you are buying Ruben Dias, who paces at a snail pace, which was your main headache against Leicester. Your main headache was against Leicester was because they had pacey players who, when they got in behind, even your pacey right back Walker was fouling them here and there. They couldn't catch up. So now you have a snail trying to you want to make a horse out of a snail. I don't know whether that's what he wants to do. Right. So with Ruben Dias, I think it might not solve a lot. Right. It might not solve a lot. And I think Pep Guardiola should probably now caution something out of what he has now and try to modify his tactics a bit if he wants to have a chance to battle Liverpool. Right. He has to know that, hey, in certain matches, I don't have to have my defenders or all my 11 players in the opponent's half. And quite frankly, his problem really sometimes I don't quite get it. He's leading 2-0 up, yet all his players are in the opponent's half. And I think it's something he has to change. We know that he loves to play attacking football. Yeah, but all these things, you have to look at the profile of the players that you have. If you have players that have good recovery, players that can really tackle, then you can afford to play high up the line when you are leading. But there is no point when you are leading 2-3 and you are still high up the line. You are not trying to be moderate with your playing model. And I think he has to do that because, quite frankly, I don't see any defender that he has right now that is good in tackling. All of them are ball players. And those that are not ball players, like Walker, they are just clumsy. They don't tackle well. Walker comes and he fouls almost all the time. I don't know whether it's a space or something. He can't apply the brakes or what. But anytime he makes the tackle, he mostly fouls. So right now, I think it's a little bit too late. Khalidou Koulibaly, they won't get, because when we talk about mafia managers, when it comes to deal in negotiations, you talk about Daniel Levy, you talk about Jean-Michel Aulas, and then you talk about Aurelio De Laurentiis. And amongst them, I think De Laurentiis is the hardball mafia, typical Italian mafia. So you either bring me the money or you forget. So I think they comes to Spain right now, Eunice Kaundes. Spain, because of the ability of a buyout clause, if you come for a player they don't want to negotiate, they just simply refer you to the buyout clause. And once they refer you to the buyout clause, it means you have to cough out the money or you forget. So I think probably they've gone for Ruben Dias. Yes, the money looks big, but I doubt they will pay everything up front. I believe there will be a payment plan and installments made with the Porto, or the team is coming from Portugal. And that is the only reason why they would settle for him. But I don't see any real difference that he will make in their defense. So I would say that if they want to really challenge Liverpool, he should stick to the things he knows. And he should be a bit reasonable whenever he's 2 goes up, 3 goes up. He should conserve energy. They should hold on to the ball more, do what they do more, and try as much as possible to get the ball to the attacking third. And like what he did in Barcelona, I think they might give Liverpool money back. Like Ben said, Liverpool are the favorites to be runaway league winners, given what we have seen. Look, they blew Arsenal, and Arsenal have been great. Let's not mince words. They've been great, but it didn't look like a competition at all.
Okay, that's fine. We're supposed to look at VAR and its implementation in the Premier League and the controversial IFAB, the handball rule, whether IFAB needed to review it, but we'll push it to the weekend because there are a lot of controversies, and then we are hard pressed for time. And then I believe other people also have an opinion on that, so they could also join for the weekend show. So we'll push that one to the weekend show, and then we'll skip quickly to the midweek. Okay. And then we'll have a quick look at the midweek matches. So, Bernard, starting from the DFB
review.
Yes, we are going to have a review. Yes, review of the midweek matches. I believe Chelsea are playing today in the Carabao Cup. There's a DFB Super Cup between Bayern and Dortmund, I believe tomorrow. The German Super Cup.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Usually have a look at that. But in predicting, guys, I'm sure investors are also watching and then listening. So please make your predictions as accurate as you think, as you know, because people's livelihoods are dependent on that.
Okay.
Without much ado, I'll quickly start with the DFB Super Cup, Bayern against Dortmund. Bernard, any word on that?
Okay. I think Bayern Munich versus Dortmund has always been an exciting fixture. which always promises you goals. And given what happened to Bayern Munich during the weekend when they lost away to Hoffenheim by 4-1, which we all didn't expect that to happen. I mean, they really messed people's investments up. And I think it was just tiredness from their trip to Budapest. The UEFA Super Cup match against Sevilla, which traveled through to 120 minutes.
Yeah.
And given the travel time and then the
jet lags and all that.
It was a match that they really struggled. Like they were really made to work before they won. So it took a lot of energy from the guys. So I believe it was expected. It was expected, but we all didn't see that Hoffenheim were going to win by that margin. All in all, they played really well, but they were just not sharp enough. They were just passing the ball around, and they squandered a couple of opportunities as well. And Hoffenheim really played well using the counter-attack type of football. Anytime they passed the ball to Kramaric, and Bayern were going to pick the ball to come and pass. I mean, so that is something that Dortmund can use to score them tomorrow, because Dortmund also have pacey wingers who equally have the quality, and even if I dare to say they have much quality than the Hoffenheim players. So if Dortmund wants to win this fixture, I believe they have to use the same approach. They have the men to do that. Bayern will always be Bayern, and they always stand as favorites anytime they are playing Dortmund. So I still tip them to Bayern Munich to win, but I think if you are going to bet, the safe bet is to choose both teams to score.
Okay.
They are all going to score goals, or either you choose both teams to score over 2.5 goals. But if you want to dare, you can take win for Bayern Munich, both teams to score, or win for Bayern Munich over 2.5.
Okay.
Okay, that's
it. Jude.
Yeah, I think since he's touched on Bayern Munich, I won't want us to, because what he said are exactly my sentiments.
Okay.
So I'll just talk about what we have today, Chelsea and Tottenham. It's going to be an interesting match, because at this point, every one of them needs to win, else their season will look big. And it's a cup match too, so you don't have second chances. You lose and you are out. Right, so we are really going to have an interesting match. But I think that, again, both teams will score, because we've seen the defensive frailties of both teams. Yeah. Right, both teams will score. And matches being played, given the fact that Tottenham have to play 4 matches, they've already played one. Today they are playing. Thursday they have an Europa League tie. Right, and then on Sunday they play Manchester United. So I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if Mourinho will try and rest a bit of his players. And again, let's remember that Son may not play because he got injured in the previous match.
Yeah, he's injured. He will not play.
So he's injured. He's not playing. So that's one huge attacking threat taken out away from them. Bale is not yet ready for it. So Chelsea are a bit of favorites for me, but both teams will definitely score. But that's what I'll say. Tomorrow, Barca will play Celta Vigo away. I think Barca will win over 2.5. Yes, because at the Balados, Celta Vigo are really much an attacking team. I think Real Madrid, I think Barca plays Thursday, sorry. Real Madrid will play tomorrow.
Against
I don't quite remember the team they are playing against, but I know they will play
Valladolid.
Real Valladolid, yes. That's a simple Real Madrid win. You can risk by saying Benzema to score at any time, because I think he will score. Yeah. and I think Atletico also plays. I don't quite remember the team they'll play against. So
Huesca, one of the
I'll
new.
leave it.
Huesca.
Yes, yes, that's true. So Atletico will win, and over 2.5, given their attacking prowess these days, you should give them Atletico win over 2.5. So basically, in summary, I'll just leave it there. I think Man U plays, and some of the teams play, but
Brighton.
the fixtures are not
Brighton.
offered. Man U playing Brighton. Wow,
Man United is
that
playing
would be
Brighton
interesting.
again. Away. Away.
That would be interesting because Brighton really worried.
Yeah.
Yes, they've really worried. Their first match against Chelsea, yes, Chelsea won, but you could see the signs in there. Their second match, yes, you saw it. It was really a tough match. So I think Brighton will worry. Yeah, Brighton will worry, but with the quality of Man U should be able to try and pull through. So Man U win will do. Okay, so I'll leave it here.
Okay, Bernard.
Okay. So I'll also look at the Newport-Newcastle match. I think their last fixture, Newcastle played Morecambe and they scored 7. So this one is also going to be a walk in the park for them. Newcastle will win over 2.5. And Brighton, Man United, always you just have to take both teams to score, because Brighton playing at home, they will definitely score, and United is United. So I don't know. I don't think they can win this one, but I'll just go play safe and then stake both teams to score.
Okay.
Yeah, Liverpool, Arsenal. This I think Liverpool will win this one again. They are going to win this one again. No, Atletico Madrid, Atletico will win. Madrid, Valladolid, Madrid will win. Sevilla will win against Levante. I expect Barcelona to win, but both teams to score. And yeah, Sociedad Valencia is already in play, and it's halftime now. The scoreline is 0-0.
Yeah.
I expect Sociedad to win this one.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think I'll quickly go through mine. I believe I'll go for Chelsea win, Newcastle win, Man City easy chop. I suspect Brighton will not drop points this time, so I'll go for a double chance for Brighton. And if you want to play safe, yes, of course, both teams to score. Everton, West Ham. This is also another tough one for Everton to keep their run going. I think they'll have it a bit difficult this time. I'll go for safe under 3.5 just to be safe, because I think West Ham will worry them this time around. And I also think Liverpool will have a slight edge it slightly over Arsenal just because of the quality of their squad depth. And then Atletico Madrid will win comfortably. Madrid will win. Sevilla will win. Barcelona will win. And then, yes, this one is already in session, so we won't even talk about it. So, guys, in rounding up, I think we've come to the end of another episode. In rounding up, I'll say before you go, viewers, kindly hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And also share so we can bring you more amazing content. My name is Nee, and with me today is Jude and then Bernard. We'll see you next time, and then subscribe. Thank you.